Okay, these are the tools of the trade for how I prepare tires. Start over here on the left, Sticky Kicks band here. There's a lot of different options out there. These are the best for me because they maintain elasticity and they are the tightest bands. Getting good pressure on the tire is super critical to how I glue up, so those are important. It's got some TDK sauce in here, some just glass cleaner to clean before the tires are burned in. Steel file. This is super critical. It's a cylinder and then it comes to a point. This is what I use to scuff up the rims. We'll show that in the future. It's my favorite way of doing it. Just a four-wheel drive rim for a demonstration. I run exclusively with slicks at our track, so I've got these shears. They let me just cut off the excess tire on some tires from the mold release. Glue tip, stainless steel, super important, and angled. These are the best ones I've found for the most consistency. This is either a medium or for thick glue. I'll use either. Just some CA glue here. Tire punch, shop towel. Got microfiber over here for cleaning. And then we got a tire warmer right here from SkyRC. That's how I burn in my tires, which I'll talk about further when we're gluing them up. So I'm gonna clear the area here and we'll get to gluing. Okay, so first thing I do is I take this file here and I'm gonna run it along inside of this rim here. I wanna get this outer side here and down here, just in that little corner there, and the same for the outside. So I just run this along here, nice and gentle. It's a steel file, so it does plenty of scuffing just from running across it. Don't really want to push too hard into that. I'll make sure I get that point right down in there so that the scuff happens in that 90-degree corner as well. Those are the two contact surfaces for the tire, so that's why they're super important. I'll flip it around here, same thing on the outside. This is one of my favorite things to do is use this file. It's just faster. You can use a Scotch-Brite pad, but you end up scuffing more than you really need to, and it takes longer, and it's really kind of hard on your fingers to press it deep into that corner, at least by comparison to the steel file. So that's that. Next thing I'll do is I'll clean the tire and the rim that I just scuffed. Simple green is my go-to. So let's take a brand new pad here, put a little bit on there. Then I'll just sort of pinch my thumb and finger to really push that shop towel down into the corner there. Just run it around. Do the other side as well. This just prevents any sort of loose shavings from affecting the glue. Now, since there's probably still a little bit of shavings on that, I'll flip it, spray it again, and then I'll do the tire. I typically don't take the foams out. I've only had one foam in 5 years be needing to be replaced, and so the amount of time it saves just to slide your fingers in here and go along the bead there to clean it, to me is just worth it. Maybe if this was my profession, I'd probably take it out, but it saves a lot of time just making sure to get this outside bead here. There we go, and then I'll let this sit a little bit. There is still, looks like it dried fairly quickly, but sometimes you'll have still a little bit of simple green that needs to come off there, but this looks pretty good. So the next thing I'll do is I'll just tire punch it. So I take the tire compound indicator, and I usually put that on the back side of the tire, and I'll put my punches on the back side as well here. So you need to put them sort of 180 degrees apart on the sidewall here. So So I'll go 180 degrees on the other side, punch it again. Looks good. Then I'll slide the tire in here. I try to get these 90 degrees apart, not super important. The whole idea of these holes in the rims and the tires to relieve pressure, so being further apart from each other, I suppose, makes the most sense as far as relieving pressure versus all being aligned. I really just make sure this is sitting on the bead cleanly there, backside and front side. And then I'll press that foam into those grooves that are on there. Okay, she's ready to go. So the next thing I do here is, this is where the tire band comes in. So I glue a tire band on. It just lets it sit into the groove much better by doing that. So I'll put this here and it'll hold the bead on. I found that gives me the most success for the tire laying flat on the rim. Sometimes if you don't do that or you mess up, this can sort of sit slightly off and then your tire wobbles. Not a huge deal, but if you can avoid it, it's ideal. All right, so I do the back side of the tire or the rim first. This side doesn't get nearly as much stress and pressure as the front side here. So if my glue is not flowing properly or something's not right, I'd rather it happen on the back side than the front side. So first thing I'm going to do here is just make sure it's flowing properly. And I align, I use this as a sort of a guide to know when I've gone 360 degrees around the tire here. So pull back, put that in, run it along the side there, and just go around doing that. I try not to put a ton of glue here. I don't want to waste it or have too much glue flow into the foam. But you definitely need to get it underneath there so that the side that sits against the rim flush has plenty in there. And so then what I'll do is I'll take this and just seal the outside here. Don't want to put too much on there. I just want to make sure that dirt or anything doesn't get inside of there. And preventing the tire from separating from the rim. Yeah, that's really it. And then make sure I clean it after and set it upwards to prevent glue from accumulating on the tip, which can affect your tire, the next tire that you glue up. Then I'll just bunch up the shop towel and just run it along the edge there to get any extra glue off of there. Nice and light, right along the edge where the rim meets the tire. I'm trying not to get this too high up on the actual tire. Since I run on high bite clay, it's not a big deal, but you can see it's up there a little bit. But again, it's not enough to really make a difference here. So I'm gonna let that sit for 10 to 15 minutes and then we'll come back and glue the front side. Okay, this is set about 10 minutes. Take the band off here, flip it over and do the other side. It's really no different than the back side. I'll just show it for a full effect. So I start with the logo of the rim, in this case J Concepts. Like the other side with the compound paint swatch, just helps me know when I've gone all the way around the tire here. So same thing, pull it back and make sure that glue gets deep down in there. This is why the angled tips are so valuable. Just makes it so much easier to get the glue deep down into that pocket there without having to pull the tire too far back. You run the risk of it bunching up and not seating completely. Okay, and then same thing here. Just make sure that there's glue right along the edge here. Again, we're just trying to seal the tire and the rim so that nothing can sort of work its way inside of there and slowly make it less and less effective. Okay, clean this guy off. I'll take this shop towel here and just run it right along the side there. Trying to get the excess glue off of there. It's always ideal to use the least amount of glue possible to do the job. And same thing with the back. It's okay if it gets up a little bit there. Eventually we'll probably glue this whole sidewall by the time the mains roll around, but it's a really good starting point here. So I'll just let that sit 10-15 minutes, and then we'll finish up with the last step. Okay, before we start the last step, there's one thing I wanted to quick show as well. If you happen to, when you're pulling and gluing and letting it go back, if it doesn't fully seat, keep gluing, finish your gluing, and then take it, set it flat here, and just push really hard. And typically 9 times out of 10, it will seat back in if you're using medium glue because it hasn't fully set yet. So that happens to me occasionally, but it's not a big deal because you can sort of just do this right when you get done gluing, clean your tip, and then just push on these and you'll see it seat back in. Okay, so for the last step here, now we're ready to burn in the tire. So if you're using a treaded tire, some people even like to do it on slicks, take a sanding stick and just connect it to a drill and sand down to either flatten the surface of the tire or just rough it up. The Ryan Harris has a really good video on how to do that, both sanding as well as burning in with a drill and a microfiber towel. I don't do either of those things, so I'll just leave it to his video if you want to see how to do that. But what I basically do now at this point is I'll take these shears and I'll cut this little rubber line off there. As you can see, it's basically non-existent, so in this one you don't really need to do that per se. And the main reason you would do that is if you wanted a set of tires that you were going to put on for the first time and run in a qualifier, you'd probably want to cut that off there just so you have the maximum consistency. This would likely burn off in the first 5 minutes anyway if we run on sort of abrasive clay, so this would be gone very quickly. But if you want them sort of perfect when you first set them down, you can use those shears to sort of cut that off. Now the next step is just to take some cleaner here, put on a microfiber towel, and then I just sort of clean this up. Just like that, and then I'll use the dry side to just take some of that off. Now it's ready to be burned in. So I use a tire warmer to do this. A lot of people use microfiber and they just put some tire sauce on the microfiber, connect this to a drill. Again, the Ryan Harris video will show you how to do that. But for me, I just don't get the consistency I need out of that. So, you know, for example, when I use a tire warmer, I put the sauce on, put it in. Well, let me just actually show you start to finish here. So just sort of sauce it up. This is the TDK sauce. Nothing too crazy, just one layer on here. And then here's the tire band here. So you just set it in like in the center there. Get it nice and tight. And so now that guy's ready to go. And so I'll turn the tire warmer on prior to doing this so that this gets up to heat, and I do 170 degrees Fahrenheit for 5 minutes. Make sure to set a timer because at that heat with sauce, it can blow them out pretty quickly, so you don't want to go too far over 5 minutes. Right around 7 minutes, you might have already ruined the tire, just as an example. So, and the main reason I like to do this is these are J-Concepts tires. I know silver compound slicks, Smoothie 2s. I know that with this preparation, I'll get minimum 10 runs of ideal traction out of them. Possibly more, but no less than 10 before I can start to feel a difference in the tire. And when I burn them in using microfiber, tire sauce, and a drill, that number varies wildly. It sort of depends how long it took me to get the tire burned in, et cetera, et cetera. So I might only get 6 runs, for example. So I just like the tire warmer for consistency, and it's a lot easier and cleaner to do it this way. So that's about it.